but it's I'm telling you, there's an experiment going on, and we have been bred and selected to not realize it. That we and everyone knows this in a way, that you need a life worth traversing. And for some people, that may be never having children, so that they could engage on a path that they need, which is not losing that energy in the 20 or 30 years it takes to raise a child, when in fact a being that's going to try to live forever or live, thousands of years in their light body, which is a possibility, and all beings on earth one day will do that, hopefully, is that you need something worth traversing, a life worth traversing, and you need to scrounge up your energy and not do things like have children or waste your life haphazardly. The universe is very efficient. Nothing is wasted. Everything has its place. Everything is useful. Everything can be reacquired by the universe. Even if you assume a place with nothing in it is not useful, well, for somebody that's overwhelmed to be in a place that's not useful, maybe a vacation. If you get my drift, everything could be useful at one time or another. Doesn't mean you could use everything in the universe. So you have to have a well-rounded life, and one with meaning, and all those things that you always attribute to knowledge or wisdom, or that are on the path to wisdom. And okay, so we have commands and laws. The universe has laws, and the gods have commands, and that's their participation for the part of our body that's we're missing. For us to come into creation, we needed the same thing they needed, which were commands from a higher source of what reality is. So it's like a stepladder, and they got theirs from the avians. The avians kind of set, the way it happens is they set them up that they had to do certain things to be useful and to strive for that long life, and for their civilizations to flourish and to become even closer. Even though they're made, a being's made, it always strives to find its place in the universal order, or else it could become obsolete. And on the path to obsolete, your mind could become decrepit and you could become destroyed. So in a way that these videos like this are only useful for those who truly need these thoughts. Even if it doesn't become you may be the spokesperson for another one, and that's a great love and a responsibility to help people out, since we all should have had that lot. And I don't want to keep dwelling on it. I've already dwelled on it, and I will later, but I don't want to say it 50 times in one video. Okay, so we have illusion, reality, the cards dealt. So we have the avians, we have the gods, and then we have the terran beings, which have very little to them. It's like a candle being held up to the light of the sun, and God would be the sun, and maybe the avians would be the galaxy. And many people don't believe in the avians, but they do exist in a pure energy state somewhere, maybe in another verse. And we don't have knowledge of those verses. Those are what we are denied as terrans, is the fact that this is a multi-layered verse. Even worlds, you could even live in your own world in a sense when you create it properly. Dimensions, we have dimensions, perspective. All those things have their own intent. At the higher intent level, those things start to make sense when you start acquiring facts and actual light energy, which comes in the form of incandescent energy or lines of light and fields in which you participate in when the cohesion and uniformity kind of settle. So you have to live your life in a certain way for those things to become useful, and to become too over asphyxiated is not a good rule, and that's where we are here on earth. So that's number 49. 49th time I mentioned it. So like I said, I'm not doing it 50. Okay, get in line or know your role. Help somebody out. If these things aren't going to help you, you still could help out the race. It's like God has kind of isolated us, and if we don't fight back, we will have to eat a turd sandwich. I don't like turd sandwiches. Even if they make me take a bite, I'm going to be mad about it. I'm going to tell somebody that God made me eat a turd sandwich. He shouldn't make people eat turd sandwiches, right? That's plain and simple. No one has to eat a turd. Okay, I spelled it wrong, but you see here, totality. Totality is all the experience or every little thought or feeling, even the ones you don't remember that have crossed your mind, get rounded up into the totality of your consciousness. And totality could even be more abstract to saying the totality of existence, the totality of the universe. You see how that works? So, okay, we have all-inclusiveness. It's all inclusive, you know, all your thoughts, every experience you had could be recapitulated, and those things can be remembered or brought about. And the recapitulation is a magical act, and a lot of people don't even know what these kind of things are yet. But I was kind of raised or taught them, so I have a higher knowledge. I'm not going to say I'm at a God level. That would be impossible and ridiculous to say, because gods are born and they get probably minimal 1.25 million year lifespan, 2,000 or 4,000 in a physical vessel, in which they have so many experiences at their lowest level. Then they ascend to a higher level in light body, in which they leave their physicality. And these are things known by galactic beings, because that's normalcy in the universe. But again, we're being experimented on, and we're forced to live and die in a vessel. And you know, our grandparents and everyone has done it before, but you know, it's time to get mad now and to take a stand and say these are our primal rights and the origin of truth. And we're not here just to be a vessel in this existence. That's a sin and a crime, and somebody's going to pay for it, and I'm not the only one. You're not the only one. We're going to charge the gods with that crime, and that's a well-justified act, especially against with 9 billion people here on the planet, and the population grows. You know, we're not just a vessel, like we said. And I hope I'm not the first one to say that or think that, and it may be that I have kind of a higher authority or knowledge of the fact, because I've accumulated many facts and a lot of knowledge about it, and not as much as the gods themselves have, but at the same time, this is my existence, and I can state it openly, outwardly, to people, to myself, to strangers, on the internet, anywhere. Okay, a well-groomed life. Live a well-groomed life. Even when you make a mistake, don't go too far from your truth. If it's a mistake, it might only be a mistake to you. So just, you know, make sure you know it's a predatorial universe, and to abide by the fact that you have to keep yourself protected, and that even a well-protected person has to put their life on the line with a decision, such as to call out gods, even if it means the fact that you may not become immortal, or I may not. It's a decision. We all die. Know your death. Even those gods will probably die one day. They'll just live a lot longer and enjoy a lot more stuff and have a lot more experience and not think about it. So if our lives are only 70 or 80 years and we only get a prime of 20 or 30, and 10 of that is the best, and 2 of that was the greatest, and 1 day with that is blah blah blah, 15 minutes of fame. Remember that the universe is real. It's not an illusion. Please do all you can for yourself. And if you say your children aren't worth it, slap yourself in the forehead 5 times in a row. Okay, man. We all live through the one. We are all one being. You know, when we're not being all shitty and being forced to, we are all love. And you know that good feeling that goes around the earth when you felt that before. Doesn't happen very often anymore. Yeah, it's probably been on purpose, but if you remember that shit, like Michael Jackson singing "We Are the World," play that fucking video. You'll get a feeling of what it was like, because it's probably the last time we felt it was in the 80s, and a lot of kids nowadays don't know about that. But play that video, man. You'll see all those rock stars looking like they're dying and living at the same time. That's what you want to know. They say young kids don't know nothing. Start learning some things, you know. Let it fall into your dreams. Bring it back. Let those dreams turn into reality. Okay, peace out, everybody.